Hey, what is up guys? John here, aka Bruce Lee, and this is Wu Jing, Fatal Contact. This is a recommendation from a few of you at home actually, so thanks so much for commenting, you guys. We're gonna take a look at it and review it based on two criteria: how realistic the fight scene is and how entertaining it is, since that's really the purpose of any movie. Again, I'm John, Bruce Lee. I'm a kickboxing teacher and Muay Thai fighter here in Canada, and this is the breakdown. Let's go. It's like a 3v3 thing, right? Okay. They're like posing. You can tell this has some anime trope roots in this. The stare down, the silence. Is anyone breathing right now? There's good parries from this guy. Ooh. Nah, I should have let him get a hold of him. Alright. This guy's got some, whenever I see like these kind of like bodybuilder type people, like, like look how big this guy is, I'll assume they're gonna be like a little bit slow or like low cardio, but he's got some decent moves. They're a little bit slow. I think he's kind of going like wide to make it look like strong and like hulky, and like I think he's like flexing the whole time. Like, like when you're fighting in martial arts guys, most people I find like they're a bit more loose and relaxed. He's like like, you don't have to do that, but it makes for a threatening character in the movie. Nice little back fist there. I mean, you can't deny the strength and the size of him is going to be a problem for most people. I would say, depending on his actual experience in martial arts, like the guy he was fighting, if he had enough speed and technique, he could definitely beat this guy. It's just, you can beat guys who are bigger and stronger than you, but this is not the way. Standing still and just getting pummeled is not the way to do it. This is the anime final boss guy right here. Actually, let's back that up. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, the big buff guy he's not without skill, but he's definitely a little slow, a little sloppy on some things here. And this choke here, kind of like the high school choke, or I can't remember exactly what it's called. It seems silly, and it kind of is, in the sense that like the reason this doesn't work too often in MMA is that like you can squirm out of it pretty easy, because when you have the neck controlled, like it's true, you can get a good grip, but they can sometimes squirm out of it. So or they can actually attack your legs and try to take you down. So sometimes it doesn't work super well, but Ben Askren did land it in a high-level fight against, was it Robbie Lawler? So it is possible to really rough someone up, but you see how the guy got out, like, that's why the bulldog choke doesn't work as good. And then we see what this guy's doing here. He's like, oh, like, he has his back turned. He's like, like, again, so it's a little ridiculous. Like, why not just turn? Like, there's no body control, there's no grappling, there's nothing to stop you from just turning around and facing your opponent. He's gonna be like, oh no. Harder than like getting stunned, but okay. Decent knees actually. Not perfect. Ooh, that's pretty savage. Yeah, again, like this guy, yeah, like I throw my knees a bit more hip engagement, and the grip they had on him was kind of like he's just holding him like this. Like, you really want to either like grip the shirt like hard, like almost like you're gonna rip it, so you can pull them into the knee, or kind of grab him more around the neck region. So again, this guy, it's not perfect, I would say. Like, if you're looking critically, like I am for the purpose of this breakdown video, it's not perfect, but it's not completely horrible. Oh, that's mean. I guess 3v3, they take turns, and they're down to the last guy, so he's oiling up, or I think this is petroleum jelly. This is actually, the petroleum jelly is actually, someone recommended this video just because they liked the scene. Another person mentioned the petroleum jelly here, so just so you guys know, like, using this jelly on your body in a professional MMA fight is actually illegal. And it's because sometimes you can't grip properly, in the sense of like, if you try to grab someone in like choke, or grab someone's neck with an arm bar, or even like when you're trying to land punches and kicks, it slides off your body a bit more. So this like slimy jelly stuff, is, in professional fighting, is cheating. Now, especially because the guy's gonna be wearing leather, I'll be surprised if he can like connect really hard and really stiff on a punch because the leather is going to be slippery against that jelly, right? Against that oily stuff. Oh, exactly that. He's like, what? Okay. Yeah, you see, like, even kicks, his foot's not catching to do the damage. The roundhouse makes sense. You can dig a roundhouse even with petroleum jelly, but any front kicks or, like, straight punches are going to be a little bit less effective here. They got to be super accurate. What's going on? Oh, that's pretty savage, honestly. Yeah, this buff guy's starting to look a little bit slower and slower. That's the thing, right? Like, there are people who are, like, ripped, like Luke Rockhold or Yolan Romero, who are fighting martial arts, but I find most, and this is complete generality, you guys. It's not like you can't be, like, ripped as hell when you're fighting, but I do find a lot of martial artists, you know, they're not this as thick as this guy, right? They prefer to be a little bit on the lean side, especially because you have to make weight for your fight. You gotta stay somewhat lean, and you don't want to be too slow. Good attacks there. Let's see what he did. The arm lock, attack the armpit into the nose. This, if you guys actually try to get, like, stick some fingers in, like, right in your armpit, there's a couple of sensitive, like, don't do it where you're gonna hurt yourself, but there's some sensitive parts in and around the armpit area, or sometimes people's lats are really sensitive, so that move makes sense. That, useless, so useless. This kick right here when he comes in and just, like, donkey kicks up, there are ways to do a spinning hook kick that would make more sense, but where he's just, like, flicking his heel up, like, I just have high doubt it'd be that devastating in terms of damage. Like, you might tap the guy or catch him off guard, but I don't really see that as a real move. Let's see this flying armbar attempt. Oh, it's not an armbar. Well, it's kind of an armbar. I don't know if you can really succeed. That seems like low likelihood of being realistic, you guys, but it's pretty cool. I'll give it that. Why would you release the armbar? Oh, he felt the nails. What else is ripping? Is it like a Wolverine or something? Oh, there's nails also going through his glove and through his heels when he does kicks. Oh, this is getting... I is not ready for a savage, gory fight, you guys. Oh, that's sneaky with the nails through his boots or whatever. It's good stuff. Let's see those kicks again. I like that clinch and that sweep, pretty realistic, but the amount of bloodlust he's gonna have, he should go for debilitating or like knockout moves quicker here, because he's at a disadvantage, because the longer this fight goes on, the more blood he's gonna lose. He's only gonna get weaker. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This is kind of ridiculous, but it's like where he jumps between his legs, like, it's pretty cool. Watch out for the nails. Nice. I find the spinning tactic here doesn't work, you guys. If someone has your back, just try to scrape them off against the wall or something. Just keep it simple, you guys. Or a slam like that was good. If you have someone down, he successfully don't bring them back up. You got a good slam them. They might have knocked the wind out of their lungs a little bit. Stay on top of him. I know he's got like weapons. Don't pick him back up. Like, he wants to stand back up. Oh, there we go. Oh, the final boss goes from sitting down and is jumping in. There you go. Let's see what happens. Decent. I want to watch these blocks again. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those blocks. I mean, I say it. I mean, this is a classic one, you guys, where I always bring it up on this channel. I'm a big fan of blocking, like, kicks like away from your body, away from your head with just your forearm, because of their full power. And then here's the thing though too, right? Like maybe in Taekwondo point system where they're kind of just like they're flicking the kicks a bit more, or some certain karate styles where they're not really trying to knock you out when you're sparring. Maybe it works just to go like this and block a whole kick. But because I come from more of a Muay Thai background, when someone goes like full power kick, like some of my own training partners have brought out their arm like this, and yes, it can stop the kick, but like think about like the size of someone's thigh, their shin, full power rotation and you have just this little forearm to help you out to block it, sometimes you'll fracture, even break your forearm. So I just don't see this as a long-term solution for blocking kicks. I prefer to block them in with like a 3-point block, which is hand, forearm, and shoulder, and taking them in, or block and catch, or doing something to relieve the pressure of that kick a bit more than just bang, bang, bang. So never a fan of that. He's blocking not correctly right now too. You can tell at least for in terms of if this is like a real fight or a real scenario, the injuries will make it make you really sensitive to pain. So like it's not really blocking properly. So it's realistic, but unfortunately some of his techniques are gonna get lost here. Those blocks are a bit better. So watch the blocks he's gonna take from the right roundhouse. You see where he's going like this and kind of like at least using more parts of your body. The more parts of your body you can use to block, the more you can dissipate that force. Or ideally, if you use the tibia, which is just underneath underneath your knee here, to block with that, you can sometimes hurt their knee instead of your knee. So, or their shin, excuse me. So that was a good block I was talking about there with the tibia. But the guy's kicking dexterity starting to show through. He's bleeding out. You gotta move quick, buddy. Don't lose too much blood in this fight. Again, you'll only get weaker if you're bleeding out. Good exchange of kicks. They're both blocking a bit better now. I love that move where the guy in the whites, which I think is Jing, when he lands a spin kick, right here, the guy like spins and then uses that momentum to go in his own spin kick. Like, that's pretty cool. Good kicks from this. I like that a lot. So you see when he goes, like, when he misses kicks here, the bad guy, he just spins into another kick. I love that technique. Very Taekwondo style. It's very useful. They're exchanging a lot of kicks, though. Nice elbows in the legs. This is really cool stuff. All right. He's staying in tight. There's a lot that we're going to unpack here, guys. So let's back it up a little bit here, because I'd have some feedback for it. If this is a real fight and I was in Jack Wu Jing's corner here, what he does here where he blocks the kick and catches and works his way in to do the elbows, tactically makes a lot of sense, right? So they've been exchanging kicks for a while, and honestly, he's not doing bad. Like, he's actually doing a good job blocking and responding, but you can tell the guy's strength is his kick, so why not put yourself in a position where you're attacking his weaknesses, or potential weaknesses. So he catches a kick here, he elbows the knee and gets in tight, so tactically what he's doing makes a lot of sense. I don't know if he should elbow the legs here, or like sometimes he's gonna elbow the legs and the body here. Just in my experience, I'm not saying it doesn't work for everyone or it doesn't work for some people, but in my experience, elbows to the leg and the body are less effective than you think. Like, they still hurt, but just the nature of like how small the area of effect is from your elbow to try and hurt a big muscle group like the leg or the torso, I don't find it pays as much dividends as you would think. So I would say in this case, when he catches a kick, just punch him in the face or something like that is a little bit simpler. So watch what he does here. Attacks the legs, elbows the body a little bit. I find all that stuff to the body, it doesn't end up working as effectively as most people would think, and he's susceptible to knees. So while he's down, kind of in his crotch, basically, the guy can just throw a knee up. So you're putting yourself in danger here. The effective stuff when he works his way up, okay? So he's going to work his way, attack the legs. When he comes up, that stuff is the more meaningful stuff. Most of the stuff to the legs, I personally, again, in my experience alone, guys, I'm not saying, I'm making a generality. I don't think it works as well as people think it does. The part here where he's doing his spin elbows, you could generate a lot of force, and where he's aiming into the ribs or the head, it can be a little bit more effective. I find, again, like even with spinning, I don't find it as effective to the body, so something you can try at home, you guys, if you're sparring. I don't think it works, but you let me know in the comments below if you think it's gonna be a factor. I find elbows to the head is just the most effective way to do it, and the majority of my training, or if not all my training, goes to the head. What I don't like about this is, watch again. Look how much time he spends with his back exposed. Right, so one, two, three elbows or something like that where his back is exposed. And because he's spinning, he's somewhat safe in that the guy has to defend. But if the guy could have just grabbed him and clinched him and been in the dominant position at any point in that, so I'm not a big fan of giving up my back ever. Like, I do spin elbows, I do spin back fists, I do spin kicks. I just don't like to expose my back over much because it can be exploited. So, just some feedback there. Otherwise, this whole, like, the headbutts, the elbows, staying tight, neutralizing those kicks, all makes sense to me. I like that. Miss a kick into a spin. Good stuff. There you go. Nice little side kick there. Kind of Bruce Lee style. Nice. I mean, some of these jumping kicks are not really necessary, but they make the movie look cool. That's jump cables. That's cool. That's pretty cool, though. Alright, guys. Before we get into the breakdown here, question of the day. What do you think of this hairstyle? This is so... I don't know when this movie came out, but this feels so early 2000s, late 2010s Fallout Boy to me. So question of the day, do you think you could rock this hairstyle? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get into the breakdown, guys. Realism versus entertainment. Let's go realism first. I'm going to give this an overall score of about 7. There's some good stuff, and I'm definitely fighting this guy, like the main boss or whatever, the one that's kind of like the anime final fight boss here. I think that the moves with that fight were pretty realistic. The ones before were just a stretch, like the guy with the hulky guy or whatever. He was definitely really sloppy, and honestly, the lighter guy, if he just moved around more, a lot of that stuff wouldn't have actually worked. The guy who was cheating with like the whole like the blades and stuff, a little bit better technique wise, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of gaps in there. Like some of it, like where he's like jumping to the guy's like legs, like I'm not counting that as anything. Like that's just like obviously for like something cool in the movie. Like I'm not gonna count that part of it, but like just the way he's trying to utilize his weapons, and like when he's throwing kicks, it's not that and he's trying to cut the guy basically with his with the nails in his boot, but the kicks he was using, like I just didn't really make sense to me for like how they were cutting. So overall, like the strikes he chose to do, I thought weren't really too practical. It's only this guy really here that was really doing a lot of in terms of the enemy side. This guy was definitely the one doing a lot of realistic martial arts. If you've seen this scene, you're wondering if this stuff is real. Stuff before is a little iffy. This guy here had some definitely legit skills. In terms of Wu Jing's like teammates, like the first two guys that got like obliterated, I mean, nothing to say there. They're in the movie to get beat up. Wu Jing here, though, is showing a lot of good skills. Some of the stuff I'm not a fan of, mainly with the blocks. The way he's like, I know he's playing someone who's injured, like he's really got sliced up by a budget Wolverine. So obviously he's gonna be a bit weathered, but some of the ways he's dealing with the kicks and stuff, I wasn't crazy about. But overall, you could tell he's got some amazing kick dexterity and some legit skills. Anything where he's like jumping up and there's jump cables, I didn't count that as part of the score. Like, I mean, it's for the movie, but I'm gonna give that overall scene with all 6 combatants I'll give it a 7. I think is a fair score. It's some good stuff. A few things that are a little odd, missing the mark in terms of realism. But that's because we're doing a breakdown today, guys. So I know it's a movie. It's not trying to be realistic 100%. Entertainment factor, I'm gonna give that an 8.5. It's pretty good scene overall. Some of the cheesy stuff though, especially with like the first guy, like the buff guy, I just, for my taste, I just don't enjoy it as much nowadays. So call me a critic or whatever, but that's the channel, y'all. That's me, so it is what it is. Again, thank you so much for commenting below, you guys, and presenting the scene to me so I could react to it. And also, this is the first time I've seen it. I hope you enjoyed the video or saw some value in it. If so, leave a like because it means a lot to me. And if you subscribe, it means I'll see you again. Comment below, guys. Was my score too high, too low? What are your thoughts? And question of the day, could you rock this hairdo in 2021? Bruce Lee is out. I'll see you next time.